Hello, fighter survivors and thrivers. Welcome to the Cancer Show. My name is Allison Lavina Phelan, and I'm a stage 3 colon cancer fighter, survivor, and thriver. My goal is to share information, inspiration, and insight within the world of cancer and beyond. Today is Superhero Saturday, and boy, do I have a superhero for you. Jeff Bryant, diagnosed at only 25 years old. He is an athlete, a scholar, a fighter, a survivor, and a superhero. And we are going to hear all about his story. I'm very excited to bring him on the show and share his inspiring, harrowing, and just up and down journey. It's crazy. I was scrolling through one of the support groups, and I saw one of his posts, and I was like, wow, we have got to hear more about his journey. So I'm going to bring him on right now. Let's give Jeff a big round of applause. Here we go. Jeff, are you there? You're adding, you're connecting. Yes, yay, we did it.
Hi, Allison. Yes,
Hi,
you finally got me on.
No worries. You know, technical difficulties. We're all learning through this process, but I can see you perfectly. How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah, just staying in this rainy, cool Memorial Day weekend we're having in New Jersey.
It's cool.
So yeah. Oh yeah. It's like in the 50s and rain right now.
The 50s? Oh my gosh, that's horrible.
Yeah, I know. And this is supposed to be the unofficial Star Summer season up here, so.
Well, maybe it's a late start. Climate change is like changing a lot of things. Well, this is what I call like a movie day, you know, when it's raining, and then it's Saturday, so you don't have to really do anything, hopefully. And I call it like grilled cheese, vegan cheese, and tomato soup. And movies or Netflix. Now it's Netflix, so you can just like do like hang out. So it's really nice to finally meet you. And
Yeah, so nice to finally meet you as well.
yeah, I'm really impressed by how you've handled your journey at such a young age. And I know that you said you gave the short description of like your journey.
It probably was still a bit long, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's fabulous because people need to hear this, and it gives them a lot of hope. So that was the short version. Now we have the time to like go into the longer version. So let's start with where you were. You were 25 years old, right? Are you 25?
I'm 25 years old now. I was 18, almost 19 when I was diagnosed.
Oh, that's right, because you were still in high school. Oh yeah, that was emotional. Like when I read that, I was like emotional. I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's graduating and he's going through all of this. But what were your symptoms? Let's start with that so that people can be aware. The kind of cancer, what stage, and your symptoms.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, which is a bone cancer. Bone cancer is a rare form of cancer, and it's actually interesting because it's interesting because typically you feel pain with this cancer. I actually didn't feel any pain, but as I was playing basketball though, I did notice that my athleticism was decreasing a little bit. Like I was having more trouble like running and jumping, and I was starting to like lose my breath more easily. Like I was feeling a little bit out of shape. So, but I thought it was just me being out of shape. And then one morning I was eating at the breakfast table, and my father noticed that my one leg looked bigger than the other. And at first
what looked bigger? Sorry.
My left leg looked bigger than my right leg.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it like my thigh, my left thigh looked a little bigger than my right thigh.
Okay.
And and originally we thought it was because I was maybe favoring that leg too much when I lifted weights, because I was a hardcore basketball player who worked out all the time. So I go to the gym that day to lift legs, and I lifted legs one at a time so that I wasn't favoring one over the other.
Right.
And the bigger leg was weaker, which didn't make sense. So yeah, so I went and got an X-ray, and then one day I'm in school, and my mom calls me while I'm walking in the hallway, and she tells me I had to sign myself out and go home, and which was very weird because my mom would have never wanted me to miss school.
I know,
So
it's like parents
it's
do
like,
not do that.
yeah,
We
so
let
it's
you
like,
in. We
so it's
don't
like,
let
why?
you out. Sorry.
So it's like, I mean, why is my mom calling me to go home? This is very interesting. So I drive home, and I see my mom with the X-rays of my leg up against the window, and there I saw was the tumor. And the tumor. So like you saw my femur bone because it was in my left femur. And the tumor sort of looked like a little sunburst that came out of the femur. It was a very interesting. It was like a really bizarre sight. And yep. And then my mom tells me that this was a cancer, and having found this out, I honestly didn't really know. I honestly didn't know how to react. It was just, I don't know. The whole thing was just surreal. It was just like, wow, like I have a cancer in my leg. Like I mean, it was just like, okay, like I'm not gonna die from this. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna die from this, am I? And my mom said, no, you're not gonna die from this. And I was like, okay, so I mean, what do we do about it? Like how are we going to treat this? So we commute up to Memorial Sloan Kettering in New York City. um, we commuted up there. We commuted up there in like 4 hours of traffic, and it was pouring rain that day, so it was crazy getting up there that day, the first time we traveled up there. And I meet my doctors, I meet my oncologists. I think I met my surgeon the first day too, I believe, and or who was going to be my surgeon. And I went through literally every single test like in the book. Like every single test you could think of that the hospital could give you, I did it. Like I did everything, like MRI scan, bone scan, CAT scan, like X-rays, everything. And it was like a long week of tests at the hospital. And then after going through all these tests, I had to get a biopsy done.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do the biopsy. They took a small piece of my tumor out for the. I'm not really sure how they. I can't exactly remember how they did the biopsy. I guess maybe they like scraped a part of the tumor out, so yeah, they did the biopsy. They studied the specimen of tumor that was in me, and then I come back to the hospital after my biopsy, and then I was officially diagnosed, and this was right before my high school graduation.
Mm.
I believe I was graduating that weekend.
Mm. Okay, so you said that your mom had the X-rays. So when your dad told you at the table that one leg did not look right, did you get an X-ray? Like when did the X-ray happen? Like when did you go to the doctor?
Well, yeah, so it was I went to work out like that day when my
Right.
father told me, and that's when I realized something was up because my bigger leg was weaker. So I got an X-ray. I think it was a couple days later.
Oh.
I think it was, yeah. I'm pretty sure. But I'm pretty sure the day we found out my one leg was bigger than the other was on a Sunday, and I got my X-ray like on I guess it was on Wednesday or Thursday, I believe.
And,
Can't remember the exact details, but yeah, I think that's about right.
and your mom put the X-rays on the window?
Yeah, so the place where I got X-rays at, the place where I got X-rays at, they still did like the window X-rays. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, the place sent the X-rays over. I guess they sent them over like I guess they must have gotten them like I guess that day.
Well, I'm just
I wouldn't know. I
because
wasn't there, but
normally the doctor will have you come in with your mom and go over the X-rays. Instead, they gave them to your mom. No?
well, this wasn't where my doctor was. It was just an X-ray place.
Okay, I see. I see.
It was
Okay.
yeah. This was just a local X-ray place
Oh,
that where I
okay.
got
I see. I
like
see.
yeah yeah no. This was before we went to Sloan. We went to Sloan after that, but yeah, this was just like a local X-ray place where I got the X-rays at. So yes.
So, yeah, I guess if you ever get another call from your mom when you're at school, it's going to be traumatic. You're like, I don't want to answer that call. I mean, wow, and you're 18 and you're graduating. So,
Yeah, I was 18. I turned 19 the following month.
and so
So yes.
everything was ready for grad, right? You went to grad. How was that? Like, what did you have a good time, or was it like?
So
Tell
yes.
me.
So yes, I attended my graduation in a wheelchair, and that was because it was on the football field, and the ground on the bubble and the ground on the football field is a bit bumpy, and my principal was a little concerned about that because with bone cancer, your leg is much more prone to breaking, because what it does is it basically feeds on your healthy bone, makes it weaker and brittle and more prone to breaking. And you don't want to break where the tumor is because then it'll spread rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to be like so careful that I didn't trip or fall or break my leg. Yeah, but yeah, so the football field was bumpy. So my principal, strongly advised that I attended in a wheelchair, and I was like, okay. So I went to graduation in my wheelchair. My homeroom teacher pushed me on the wheelchair, and yeah, I got my diploma that way. And yeah, it was a real nice time when I got my diploma. Some people were doing like my basketball. I had a basketball chant in high school. Back when I played, it was JEFF 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 Jeff,
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
yeah. So some people were chanting that when I got my
Oh,
diploma, and it was a bit of a powerful moment, but it was real nice that I at least got to be at graduation, and got to see my entire graduation class for the final time. Yeah, I mean, of course, I still keep in touch with a few friends, of course, but yeah, but it was nice that I got to at least be there with my graduating class and celebrating graduation. So yes, and then that following week was, I believe that following week was when I started chemo. It was like that
so
following
right.
week.
So wait, before we move on to the next part of your story, you're 18, you're graduating high school, you have bone cancer. Like, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Like, are you open to sharing your thoughts?
Well, yeah. Basically, like I said, I had no idea like what to expect. I had no idea what was to come really, I mean, because obviously, I know with cancer you get chemo, but I had no idea. I didn't know what it was gonna be like to, undergo chemo and have the, big surgery coming up. Honestly, I mean, I really kind of, I kept my composure because just because I didn't know, I didn't see any, I wasn't freaking out or anything. Because I didn't know what to freak out about. Like I just didn't know like what was coming up. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so I just,
Mm-hmm.
I just kept living my life, and so I kept living my life while we were like waiting for my official diagnosis. And when I got my official diagnosis, and I'm told like the whole treatment game plan, I'm just like, okay, well, I gotta do this to get better. I'll do it. You gotta do what you gotta do to get better. So
So
yeah,
do you think, I mean, I actually, I think it's a blessing that they don't really tell us what it's actually like because we don't want to know. Because my doctor told me, he's like, when I asked him, like, what's chemo going to be like? And he said, like the flu. And I tease him till this day. I'm like, the flu, obviously you've never had a flu like this, but I think that's, if we knew, at least it depends on the chemo, but most chemo is very difficult to manage. If we knew, we wouldn't do it. We'd just be like, I don't want to do that.
yeah,
But do you
yeah, well,
your
yeah, well,
that as a athlete, as a basketball player, it's just like, we just got to get this done.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, I had the athlete mentality that, I gotta do what I gotta do to, get better. So yeah, obviously having that athlete mentality helped, and also just not knowing what to expect. I mean, yeah, that's so yeah. So that's how I pretty much I kept my composure pretty much the whole time because like, you know, it wouldn't have done me good to freak out about something that I didn't know was coming. So
Yeah. Okay. So were you going to college to play basketball?
So yeah, actually, so the original plan was I was going to go to I was actually going to go to prep school, preparatory school, which is that's where a lot of athletes go to just to get like an extra year of like strength development and getting better at their game before they actually go on to play at college. So yeah, I was going to go to prep school up in Connecticut. I was going to go to Cheshire Academy and play basketball up there for a year, and hopefully I was going to be able to get a college scholarship at that point. Obviously, that didn't happen because of the cancer. But yeah, that was originally what was going to happen, and then yeah, of course, next thing I know, I'm going to Sloan Kettering about to get cancer treatment.
Wow. Okay. So tell me the schedule of your treatment. Were you doing like every 2 weeks or was it once? Like what was your treatment schedule?
So it was so I had so it was so I had I think I had three 9-week cycles of chemo. I mean the whole treatment ended up lasting 9 months. But I believe, if I remember correctly, I had three 9-week cycles of chemo, but I had surgeries in between. So I had my first 9-week cycle of chemo, and during that cycle of chemo, I had doxorubicin, cisplatin for the 1 week. Doxorubicin was that's what killed off my blood counts, and I believe that's what made me like lose my hair too. I guess they all make you lose your hair, but I know the doxorubicin kills off like the cells in your body, like blood cells and all that, and makes you more prone to, and makes you neutropenic, makes you more prone to infection. Then and cisplatin was the chemo that made you really nauseous. So I had doxorubicin, cisplatin for 1 week. Then I had 2 weeks off. Then for 2 weeks, for 2 consecutive weeks, I had methotrexate, and that's the chemo that causes mouth sores.
Uh,
It's known to cause mouth sores, and also doxorubicin is known to potentially cause impacts on your heart. But they actually gave me an antidote for that to like protect my heart. Like they give that to you with the chemo. And cisplatin is known to have impacts on your bladder and urinary tract, but that's why you have to go to the bathroom frequently. I was drinking tons of I drank a lot of water, went to the bathroom frequently, so that didn't happen. And and the methotrexate is known to impact your kidneys, especially if your body. So like your body can't be acidic when you're on methotrexate. Your body has to be it has to be above like 7 on the pH level. So basically, like you're like a pool. They give you sodium bicarbonate pills, and you take those, and you have to make sure that your pH level is above 7. Otherwise, the methotrexate would do you harm. So yeah, but so back to my chemo schedule. I did the doxorubicin and the cisplatin for 1 week, then 2 weeks off, then the methotrexate for 2 weeks, then 2 weeks off. Then I had then it was back to methotrexate. Then it was back to cisplatin, doxorubicin, and then it was back to methotrexate. Like I went kind of back and forth between those chemos sets, and I had 2 weeks off in between, so it wasn't like you were billing like every single week. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, and I was in the hospital from I guess like 7 in the morning to like between 4 and 6 o'clock in the evening. Yeah, depending on how long it depended. Some days were a little longer than others. And yeah, and then actually during basketball season, I actually helped my high school coach the basketball team the year I was getting chemo. So I would go back for practice and for games that night. So that was really nice to be able to do that. That gave me something fun to do during treatment.
Something to look forward to.
Yes.
Something on your schedule other than chemo. And that, I mean, not all chemo treatments make you lose your hair, like colon cancer treatment. I don't know anybody who lost their hair. It does thin, but how was that for you as a man? I know for women it's extremely difficult, but was it like, did you shave your head? Did you just let your hair fall out, or what did you do?
Oh yeah, I shaved my head. I mean, I did miss my hair.
You have nice hair. You have good hair.
Thank you. I grew it out nice and long after treatment because I was missing it so much. But yeah, no, I did miss having hair, but you know, I wore hats during that time. That was like the only period in my life that I actually wore hats. But yeah, I wore a lot of hats, and yeah, I mean, for a guy, you know, it's not like, you know, so strange out of those heads. So.
And when you were going to the Friday night basketball games, you were fine, right? You didn't feel sick? Were you feeling weak when you were helping coach?
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt a little tired, but I just pushed through it for the team. Yeah,
So
I managed. I managed the chemo side effects really well. The first couple of times I did the cisplatin, I was really nauseous, but that was in the summer. That was before the basketball season. But yeah, I got nauseous from cisplatin the first couple of times, but afterwards, like I was drinking water a lot, and I was also drinking fruit and kale shakes all the time, and I ate healthy. So like, you know, eating healthy and drinking water like the whole time, it definitely helps you, and being able to, you know, flush that chemo out, it definitely helps you manage the side effects better.
Not only that, when you're already healthy and working out like I was, I'm a dancer or former dancer, but I was already fit when it happened. And I know for sure that people that are going into treatment that are already fit, your body just processes it at a much higher level.
That's also what my doctor said. Yeah, the fact that I was in really good shape, you know, when I started being such a hardcore basketball player. So yeah, that definitely helped as well.
Fantastic. And that's why I always encourage people when they're going to treatment, even if it's walking around their house, like just do something, because it really does help process the chemo, like get it out of your system. It's just like lactic acid, you got to work it out. So, and also it's better for our mind. Like for you to go to those games, I mean, that was, I'm sure your coach really appreciated you going to help, but that was a gift for you, to be with people, to be, part of the game that you love, to be able to coach and to have something to look forward to and forget about cancer. That's why I do Friday night, forget about cancer. Like just forget about it for a second. Let's just be normal. You know, did you like when you were there, do you forget about cancer when you were coaching?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Basically, yeah. Basically, I just forgot about it. I mean, I mean, there were even nights where I went with my hydration backpack, and well, I just forgot that I had the hydration backpack on me. Yeah. Yeah. I just focused on assistant coaching and on the game. Yeah.
So they gave you a lysine hydration drip that you took home? I mean, a
Yeah.
saline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saline. That's fantastic because when I'm coaching people and they're dehydrated or they're really sick, I'm like, ask. Like, not every um, chemo center offers that. I'm like, ask for it. I didn't find out about it till, I don't know, a third of the way through, and I was so dehydrated. And then, oh, we're gonna give you a hydration drip. And I'm like, okay, great. So I'd go Monday, take a break off on Tuesday, go back on Wednesday, get the drip, and I felt so much better. So I encourage people to do that. With that, hydration really, really, really helps. You actually have more energy and you do recover from chemo, a little bit quicker. For me, it was like a whole week. On Saturday, I'd start to feel better. I mean, it would go, the first 3 days were horrible for me, but I'm hoping they're doing that more and more for every patient because it is so valuable. It's so helpful. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I know Sloan Kettering gives it to everybody.
That's great.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Well, Sloan Kettering is an amazing hospital. I've only heard good things.
Oh, they're the absolute best. I mean, I tell everyone to go there.
Yeah, that's good.
They're amazing. They're fantastic. I got the best care with them.
I love that. I love to hear that because I hear stories that are not all like that. We have UCLA and Cedars, and I also think that they're two of the best hospitals. Mayo Clinic, like there's a group, and if you're able to go there, you're blessed. So they're treating you as an adult, right? You're not in like the adolescent, like the younger area.
Actually, no. I was treated on the pediatric
Okay.
floor
Okay. So
because
what was that like?
so osteosarcoma is a pediatric cancer, so I had to be on the pediatric floor. Yeah, so yeah, in the beginning, you felt like a man amongst children. Yeah, in the beginning, I did feel that way a little bit. Yeah, it's like you got all these little kids running around. They had like the little like playground. They have like the playground area there. You see all the kids playing around with like the toys from there and stuff, and it's like me, and then there's like me as a grown man there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the beginning I was very oldest patient there. But actually, this was another thing that really helped me a lot with during chemo. So there was a social worker there, and she was actually a TYA social worker. She was a teen and young adult social worker, like cancer social worker,
Okay.
and yeah, and she set aside. So at the time, there was this room within the playground area that she actually would reserve for activities to do with teen and young adult patients. So yeah, so I think it was every Monday. Every Monday this social worker would gather up like kids who were like in the teen young adult age on the pediatric floor, and she would bring them together and do activities in this room, and she called this room the teen and young adult lounge, and and that was really awesome to have because later on during my cancer treatment, when I was about halfway through treatment, I did eventually end up meeting more kids my age, and we got to do some fun activities in the teen and young adult lounge together. And yeah, that was really great because I actually got to bond with other kids my age who are going through the same thing I was going through. And the kids that I met at Sloan, yeah, most of them were also osteosarcoma patients, and were well, guys and girls, my age, but yeah, it was really nice being able to bond with those kids, and I actually made some really good friendships out of them. Unfortunately, so I made like four close friends from this teen young adult lounge. Unfortunately, only one of them's doing well, and I'm very happy the one's doing well. The other, yeah, but that's the only one who's doing well. The other three weren't so lucky, but it was really nice. But it was really nice to be able to, meet other kids my age who knew what I was going through, and since these other kids who were my age came around halfway through my treatment, I became that peer who was able to guide them like through the start of their treatment, because I didn't have that when I started. I was like the oldest patient there when I started chemo, but I ended up becoming that person for them, which felt really good.
Giving is the gift you give yourself. That's my saying. Giving is the gift you give yourself. And the the two most powerful words in the English language are me too. So when you're meeting those other teens or young adults who are going through that, and you like, oh, when you meet somebody new, whatever, you're at a party, you're at a mixer, and somehow cancer comes up and they say me too, you're instantly bonded. Oh, blah blah blah, like what doctor, what do you have, and what was your treatment, like there's an instant connection and you feel a part of something. You don't feel alone. And that's why mentoring or coaching or like group support, either on Facebook or in person. I mean, we can't do in person right now, but when we go back to normal, or one-on-one therapy, whatever it is, don't go through cancer alone. And anybody who's watching this right now, please, if you don't have anybody, if you don't have a support system, message me, because I have an amazing mentor nonprofit that will connect not only just the patients, but also the caretakers with many people that have gone through. You naturally, because you're a natural born leader, obviously, but you just naturally started to mentor the new ones coming in, saying, hey, let me tell you. And that means so much to like the newly diagnosed, because it's terrifying. It's like, what the heck? And you don't know what's going on. So when somebody comes over and says, hey, this is what's going to happen and it's going to be okay, even though you don't know the outcome, you have to believe it's okay. You have to you don't have to, but it helps you to heal faster and just to manage the thoughts in your mind when you're just saying it's okay. I used to say to myself, it's okay, you're okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So kudos to you for taking that stand and that position and helping others get through it. I mean, that's a gift, an amazing gift for both of you.
Yeah, thank you. No, I really appreciate that. And but yeah, that too, a combination of that team, go lounge and assistant coaching basketball. I mean, those two things definitely. It sounds weird, but I know it sounds weird to say, but those two things made my time in chemo fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
no, my girlfriends and my children made it fun, because when I was with them, I wasn't thinking about it, and you're very young, but I had two young children at the time, and I had to go out and watch their games and watch their practices and watch their recitals and go to school events. It made me forget about the cancer. Like I was normal at that time. And I just, then you go back to it, but at least you have something to look forward to. And I share that with people, like put something on your calendar that you're looking forward to, like, go out with somebody, have a cup of tea or have breakfast, or, go to a short show, or like go to half of the show, or, do something just to get out of your head, just get out of your chemo, just forget about it. Okay.
Also, one more thing to add about that. While I was in chemo, I also got up and walked a lot. I walked like many laps around the floor
Right.
because I couldn't just lay in bed the whole day. Like I needed to get up and move around, partly because I had to do so to rehab my leg, and keep my leg strong, but also I needed to get up and walk around a bit. I just can't lay around,
Right.
but when I was walking around when I was walking around the hospital floor, I actually got like those other kids who I bonded with get up and do the same thing, and we literally had like a little train going, like like there were times where we had like a train going around because we were all like getting up and walking around the floor.
Oh, I love that, Jeff. I love that. And then you're a coach. You're like, come on, everybody, let's do some laps. That's awesome. Good for you. I mean, yeah, you guys are you're like a crew now, like a gang, like your peeps, your tribe. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you. Okay, so now what happens? Because I know there's a long story in here. So go on. You finish your first round.
Yeah, so I finished my first 9-week round of chemo. Then came my surgery, the big leg surgery. So my surgery was on September 10th of 2014. It was right after, that summer of chemo ended, of my first round ended. And, I go into the hospital, in the pre-op room, they take, they do that whole, procedure before you go in. And, and then, they ask you all the questions and stuff before you go in, and then they put me in the gown. I go into the operating room, and the only time, and so this was the only time where I got a little bit nervous about anything was when I went into the operating room for the first time. I saw like the tools that they were going to use for surgery, and that was like the one time where I got a little bit nervous. I was like, whoa, like those big sharp tools there. But I just looked away. I just looked away from them, didn't look at them, tried not to pay attention to them. And then and so the actual surgery, it sort of felt like when you're put on anesthesia, you're sort of like teleporting to the post-op room because that's what it feels like. Because like when you're on anesthesia, it doesn't like because like my surgery was for because my surgery was for 13 it was for 13 14 hours, but it didn't feel that way. Like it felt as if I went to sleep and I teleported to the post-op room. That's what it felt like. And
It's so true. You're in the middle. They're asking you questions, right? They've given you the anesthesia. They're asking you questions, and you're like, at least I am chatting away, blah blah blah. And the next thing you wake up, and they're like, juice and cookies. You're like, what the heck happened?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like yeah. Oh, and when I woke up, oh god, waking up in the anesthesia was a bit rough.
Yeah.
Like you feel I just felt like super dizzy, and it's like I felt super dizzy, and it was weird. There was a moment where I felt like my teeth were falling out, but they weren't.
You're tripping.
Yeah.
I get down like
Yeah,
that.
and obviously being on anesthesia, I didn't have like I wasn't there mentally, so I was saying like a lot of weird stuff. But yeah, so waking up from the surgery was a little bit rough,
Oh my God.
but
I'm thinking, so my surgeon was there after my surgery. I was recovering in the recovery room, and my surgeon comes in to talk to me, and we're like, just talking back and forth. I'm like, so when are we gonna do the surgery? I'm ready. He's like, we did it. I'm like, what? He's like, we did it. I'm like, we did? I was like, oh great.
oh, so you didn't even know that you were put under.
I didn't remember. I was still super high, and I don't remember. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. And he's like, we did it. I'm like, okay, good. Check. But yeah, you're not in a normal state of mind. I tell my friends, our people that I'm coaching, listen, if you have any secrets,
and that person's going to be around you, you need to tell them before, because like it's a truth serum. You will like, you'll be like, if anybody asks you, you're like, oh yeah, this, like you have no filter when you're in that state. So I tease them about that, but that's hilarious. I wish somebody had filmed those parts to share, because those are really, I'm sure, very funny. Okay, so you recover from that surgery, yes?
Yes, I was in the hospital for 10 days, and they actually, doctors and nurses were actually very amazed at my recovery from, well, this surgery and all the surgeries I took, because like, I was very quick to get off the pain medication because I hated the narcotics. I didn't want to be on them.
Right.
Like I didn't like those side effects either. But yeah, I was quick to get off the narcotics, and I went from struggling to get from the bed to a chair the first day out of surgery to all of a sudden like walking. I must have been to all of a sudden walking like 10 laps around the whole floor by the end of my stay.
Wow.
Yeah, they were very amazed at my recovery. So I recovered from surgery after 10 days in the hospital, and I do the inpatient physical therapy at home, which is what they do after surgery, and that was for a couple of weeks, and then I started outpatient physical therapy, but I wasn't going to outpatient physical therapy too often during chemo because the chemo days were so long, and
Very
so
long. Mine were 5 hours, but yours were all day long. Yours were really long.
oh yeah, no, oh yes, they were long days. So in the beginning, I was only going to outpatient physical therapy, like during my off weeks, but it wasn't until after chemo ended when I really went hardcore with PT. Um, so yeah, so I started the whole, recovery process with surgery. I do my second 9 week cycle of chemo, after recovering from surgery. And so yeah, I went through. So I went. So I basically. So I went through the last. So I went through those last like 18-week, cycles of chemo. And during this time, I'm helping coach my high school basketball team and getting involved with 2A lounge activities, at the hospital. So yeah, that all made that time just go by really fast. And yeah, and I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think what else. Also, the community itself was just really amazing. I mean, people like during that, like back at that summer when I first started treatment, everyone was like coming over and hang by the pool to support me, and people actually made bracelets with the JEFF Jeff chant. They were yellow bracelets for bone cancer, and they were in blue lettering because blue is my favorite color.
Oh, I
But yeah,
love it.
yeah, my high school gave those like all out.
The whole
um,
school?
oh yeah, everyone like the whole school I think like got one of them, got one of those, yeah, and then eventually those expanded to basically like the whole like everyone I knew had one of those.
I would have worn
Yeah.
one. Do you have siblings?
Oh yes, I have an older sister.
Okay. Well, I mean, I call that one of the backwards blessing is the community support and the random acts of kindness that you probably experienced. I mean, that like you really see humanity at its best. Like whenever somebody's going through something horrific like that, you see humanity like step up, and just by the whole community, your school and beyond just shows like, they're supporting you. They may not even know you, they're supporting you. And somehow that just fuels us. It's fuel to get better. It's good to want to get better. It just really lifts us up. So whenever there's an opportunity to do that, I'm always in on that. And I encourage everybody else. But like, what can I do for that person? Just support them. Just show up. You know what I'm saying? And your community showed up for you, and it felt really good, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, the whole community showed up, and yeah, it was, yeah, it was very nice to know that wasn't going through my battle of cancer alone,
Yeah.
and yeah, and then going further along with the community support, I've been on the newspaper. I was on the newspaper quite a few times for my story. Yeah, well, because I was going through cancer and I was assistant coach of my high school team, I was on the newspaper a bunch of times for that. And then one day I went into high school, my high school basketball team's practice, and my head coach comes up and says, "Hey Jeff, you got something in the school mail. You got like a check or something." And I was like, "Oh, that's real. Oh, well, that's interesting, and that's really nice of whoever sent this." so I went and I got the thing that this mystery person sent to me, and and it was a check of $500, and it was a whole and it was like a whole pamphlet on this cancer organization called the Francis Foundation, which I had no awareness of like at the time, and there was a letter that came with all that too, and the letter came from this man who founded the Francis Foundation, and he said, "Hey Jeff, I saw your story in the newspaper, and I think it's really incredible, like, what you're doing and what you're, fighting through. And I would really love to take you and your family out to lunch, so sometime soon."
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yes, and he left his phone number and email in the letter. So I get in touch with him, and we set up a time to meet up. My family and I meet up with him for lunch, and so we met for lunch at our favorite Italian restaurant, which we always go to, and we meet this man who founded the Francis Foundation, and this person who I didn't know who he was at the time. He comes through, and he said, he offers us tickets to the Final Four in Indianapolis for that year.
Oh my God! How awesome!
Yes, I know. Like, just this person came out of nowhere and decided that he was going to give me Final Four tickets, and it's like, wow, like really, like,
And $500.
like, yeah, and a $500 check. I'm like, wow, like this, like. Like, I don't know what's going on right now. Like, wow, this is like beyond amazing. Like, I
Oh,
can't believe this is going on. Yeah. So then, and yeah. So and ever since that time, my family and I have been actively involved with the Francis Foundation. We went to the Final Four. It
you?
was in
How was it?
Indianapolis. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was the trip of a lifetime.
Oh,
We went right after my chemo had ended, and I brought my best friend with me too, because we had a spare ticket. Because we had a spare ticket, so we invited him to come with us, my best friend, and so yeah, it was a trip of a lifetime. So the tickets were for like that whole weekend. We went to like the All-Star, like the college All-Star game. That was that Friday. We went to that. Then Saturday was the Final Four. Um, yeah, and then Monday was a championship. We were there for the whole thing, the Final Four championship, that All-Star game before that, everything. And we had tickets to like the Final Four festival, which was the festival that goes on the whole time.
wow.
And yeah, and I actually got to meet Shane Battier, who played with LeBron James on the Heat. I met Christian Laettner, who was a legendary Duke basketball player. I met with Coach Wright, who was the basketball coach at Villanova. Yeah, because actually, this man who founded the Friends Foundation is a Villanova fan, so he was connected to him. So I got to meet that coach. I got to meet another basketball coach from George Washington. So yeah, I got to meet some really cool people from the basketball world. And yeah, and this and also this was the Final Four when Wisconsin knocked out Kentucky when they were undefeated, and Kentucky was undefeated and Wisconsin beat them that Final Four.
Oh, how painful!
Yeah. I know. It was so yeah. It was like yeah. So it was like it was the trip of a lifetime. And we went and on top of that we went to the raceway in Indianapolis.
Sure.
We went to the NCAA basketball museum. Yeah, it was just a real fun trip. It was a trip of a lifetime.
Oh, that just melts my heart when like you just come out of nowhere and that's super amazing. But even the smallest random acts of kindness are appreciated. But that's fantastic. And now you're involved with the organization.
Yeah.
So you're giving.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. Ever since then, we've been actively involved with the Francis Foundation. We try to go to as many events that they're hosting as we can. They host this gala every year in October. We try to go that as often as we can. They have like a softball tournament every summer. We try to go that. They have cornhole. They host weekly cornhole tournaments. Restaurant near us every Thursday in the summer, so we try to go to that as often as we can. Yeah, I mean we're so actively involved with this Francis Foundation like ever since, because they really are. Because I mean they really are amazing. They have some they're really amazing people.
I'm gonna look it up. Maybe we can have them on the show. That'd be fantastic. Because I really like.
That would be so incredible, actually.
Yeah, I'd like to promote nonprofits and like any organization that's giving back or helping. So we can talk about that later. So let me ask you this: we're at an hour right now. Do you have time to do a part 2? Because I know there's so much more. Do you have time to do it next week, or do you want to continue?
Okay. Well, I can. I mean, I can continue for a little bit.
But I don't want.
I mean, I guess we
shorten it. I want to hear the whole story. So if you have time next weekend, we could do it then, or you can condense it and do it now. It's up to you.
Okay. Yeah. I know I got another wedding next weekend. We've had so many weddings to go to. So.
You do have
so
gone to a lot of weddings. You have.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. So yeah. I guess so. Yeah, I guess if you want, I guess maybe. Oh well, and then the weekend after that, I moved to DC.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, let's continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's just continue. So, yeah, so I finished chemotherapy on St. Patrick's Day of 2015, right before I went to the Final Four that following month, and it was a little crazy because my confirmation name is Patrick. I'm sure if you're Catholic, you would know what confirmation name is. But,
yeah, that's interesting.
So my confirmation name was Patrick, and also my surgeon, his first name was Patrick, and he was from Ireland.
Oh, my dad's in heaven now, but his name is Patrick John Phelan, and he's born on St. Patrick's Day. So, and his family's Irish, so his parents are from Ireland. So, yeah, you're blessed. You got the luck of the Irish, that's for sure. All right.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah, so I finished chemotherapy. I went to the Final Four right after that, and then it was on to college. So I attended Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida. a very beautiful, gorgeous place to go to college. You should look that up
I
too.
did look it up. It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's a magnificent place. I loved going there. Like I do not regret going there one bit. However, I go there for my freshman year, that fall after treatment ended, and I only ended up going for about 2 months for my freshman year because what happened was my entire prosthesis got loose. It just popped right loose from my hip. Yeah, like everything, my prosthetic femur, my knee, like everything just popped right loose. And yeah, you don't even want to know what that was like. Like that was just her. That was absolutely words couldn't describe how absolutely horrendous it was. I was in the absolute most terrible agony ever. I woke my roommate up. I even like woke my roommate up one night, and my roommate and I were not getting sleep that night because I was screaming in pain the whole night. I mean, it was just that was really awful.
What?
But
Call the ambulance.
uh, well, well, the pain did die down eventually a little bit like that morning, but but yeah, it wasn't like, the pain kind of came and went. Like it flared up at certain times, and then it wasn't flaring up as badly. But I actually was going home that weekend anyway, because I did have a follow-up appointment, like a post-treatment, scan appointment. So, at least I was going home like at that time anyway. So, I somehow managed to fly home. Don't ask me how I did, but I flew home. And, and then when the plane landed that night, I go to see my mom who was picking me up. All of a sudden, I couldn't get in the car because the pain flared up again. At that moment, I couldn't get in the car. We had to get this police officer to help me get in the car. Yeah, and then we drove up to Sloan that night because we were going to stay at the Ronald McDonald House, and then we were going to do my post-treatment scans like that morning. And then all of a sudden, when I'm getting out of the car, the pain flared up once more, and I couldn't move at all. Couldn't even I couldn't move or go anywhere at that moment. It was really awful, and I can remember like just screaming off the top of my lungs in pain, and everyone was like, we were like in New York at this point in front of Ronald McDonald House. I couldn't get in the Ronald McDonald House, and like I used to just remember everyone was staring out their windows because they were hearing my screaming.
Oh.
And so finally at that point we did call an ambulance because it was clear that I needed an ambulance. So we finally do call an ambulance. They take me into Sloan. I was in the hospital for 9 days just to get the pain down.
Wow.
I mean, literally, not 9 days in the hospital, 9 days inpatient in the hospital just to get that pain down. I mean, that's all I was there for. So yeah, and then and then we got X-rays and all that, and yeah, we realized that my femur had gone loose, and so what happened was I had to wait 3 more months in that horrendous agony, because my doctor ordered for a new custom-made prosthesis to be made for me, and it was being made at this place in Indiana, and so I had to wait 3 months in that horrendous agony to get this next surgery done. So I had my second femur and knee replacement done in January of 2016, and so I went through the whole process all over again, had my femur and knee replaced, and went through that whole recovery all over again. But the good thing was, I felt much better right after the surgery than I did right before. So, because I wasn't feeling that horrendous agony anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure that that was a great relief, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know what kind of pain, but even when you describe it, I'm feeling it like in my knees, in my legs. Like, I'm like, oh, I can't imagine. If you're screaming and you're an athlete and you can handle pain, I know that it must have been agonizing. Terrible.
Oh yeah, you don't even want to know what that was like, honestly. I mean, that was definitely the scariest part of my whole journey. Was like that was scarier than even the cancer treatment. Was that the loose femur? But yeah, so I got that surgery done. I go through the whole process of physical therapy all over again. Um, Yeah, and during this whole time, like I've had to like I went through like pretty much for about like 4 years I had to walk with like crutches or a cane. Like I had to walk with crutches or something. Like I wasn't able to really walk for such a long time. But I missed my whole freshman year that year, besides the 2 months I was there. Then I go back to college for what would have been my sophomore year, but was more like a freshman year for me that year since I missed most of that previous year. So I get through that whole college year, and then that summer, the screws connected to my hip got loose. So I had to get another surgery done just to fix the screws that got loose on my hip. And I had to miss that following fall semester as well. So I missed 2.5 semesters of college because of surgeries. And yeah, that really had a huge impact on my college experience because I had missed so much time in college and then come back. You know, it was a lot. It got a little more challenging. I mean, look, I made the absolute best out of my time at Flagler College. I did have fun during the time when I was there. But I didn't necessarily get to live like a normal college student because I can't play sports anymore. I can't like run or jump or do anything anymore. So I couldn't get involved with like intramurals or anything like that. So I couldn't get involved with that stuff. And I had to be careful not to drink too much because I couldn't like drink so much that I fell and got hurt. So I couldn't really I couldn't do a lot of things that college students that men in college my age typically do. And because of that, I had a little bit of a hard time fitting in with people in college. I had a little bit of a more challenging time making new friends because it was just it was a little more challenging not being able to do a lot of things that people in college like to do. um, but and then on top of that, I struggled academically as well because that semester when I came back from my third leg surgery after I missed that fall semester, I did so horrible because my GPA was so bad that semester because I had to get back into the whole swing of college after having undergone this after having undergone surgery and recovery. So yeah, and being sheltered at home, I had to get back into the swing of college, and that proved to be really difficult. Like the semester I came back, but eventually I did get back to the full swing of college academically afterwards, and I did manage to make dean's list 3 out of my last 4 semesters
Wow.
after. Yeah, and that was right after. Yeah, and I managed to do that right after I was on academic warning the semester before that when I came back from surgery. So yeah, I
Wow.
really
Come back.
yeah, so I really yeah, I know. So I really improved my academic performance right after that, one bad semester I had. So yeah. So that was real awesome. And then yes, yep. So now I get through college. making the best out of my college experience that I was having and all. And then my last semester of college comes. I'm ready to graduate, and then COVID happens. Yeah. Or actually, wait, no, backtrack that. Actually, backtrack that a little bit. I did have a fourth leg surgery the summer. I did have a fourth leg surgery.
Yep.
The next summer after the third leg surgery, but I managed to go back to school though. I did manage to go back to school that year, so that wasn't really too much of a setback, that fourth leg surgery, because that didn't really impact anything. I got it done right before, and that was because my artificial knee got loose. So I had to get my artificial knee replaced. But thankfully, I got that done just enough time that I got to go back to college. So thankfully, that didn't interfere with too much. I just had to, go through PT again after that. But it's okay. So
You're
yeah,
a master of PT. 4 surgeries is a lot of surgeries.
Yeah, actually, I had the 4 leg surgeries, and I guess I must have skipped over this too. I had 2 lung surgeries as well during chemo, and that was because I had some little spots of my cancer from my leg that spread to my lungs. So I had to get 2 lung surgeries as well.
Oh my God.
To get those spots removed.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I actually have 2 scars on my back that kind of look like I had wings ripped off. So I kind of like to joke about that when I like to joke about that when people ask me how I got those scars on my back. I'm like, oh, I had wings; they were ripped off, because that's what they look like.
Or maybe it could just be like wings that go in and come out. You're like, those are my wings.
Yeah.
It's a good pickup line. You want to see my wings?
Yeah, that's good.
You're unique,
Yeah,
that's for
God.
sure. That's a good icebreaker. Want to see my wings? Want to see my wings? Wow. So then COVID hits, and
after going through the 4 leg surgeries and 2 lung surgeries and missing 2.5 semesters of college, COVID hits, and I had to finish the end of my senior year in quarantine. Didn't have college graduation.
Jeff. Oh my God.
right after going through all that. So that was a bummer, but what can you do?
Well, you're going to be getting your master's, so you have another chance to graduate.
And then I do get into graduate school. I'm now getting my master's at George Washington in Museum Studies.
Amazing.
And I am set to graduate. I'm set to graduate in the summer of 2022 because I'm kind of taking my time a little more with classes in grad school. So I will be moving to DC in person next month because I'm starting my first in-person class and it's a summer course. So I'll be there next month. So I'm excited for that.
You're so blessed. Well, I just want to, first of all, it's an amazing story. I want to wrap up with a couple questions, if you don't mind. So answer these questions as best you can, and just, go deep, like whatever you're feeling, just express. So cancer is?
Cancer is, you want my own definition?
Yeah, like to you, what is cancer? Cancer is?
Cancer is it's a really terrible disease, and it's also a very significant life-changing event, where it definitely requires, some, hardcore treatment. It's, you'll have to, you may feel some pain for a little while. You may feel a little sick from treatment for a little while, but it's something where, after maybe feeling a little worse, you get much better. you know, it was cancer, and cancer was definitely, I mean, cancer definitely, it changed my life,
Okay.
significantly, but, and yeah, I don't think I don't think I'd ever, I don't think I'd ever would have done the things I've been doing or met the people that I met if it weren't for cancer. Honestly, wouldn't have met the amazing Francis Foundation or my amazing doctors and nurses at Sloan. I wouldn't be doing my bone cancer blog on Instagram. I wouldn't be leading my Facebook group. I mean, there's that, and I wouldn't have met all these other amazing people on social media like yourself. You know, I mean, there's definitely, you know, there definitely were some things I'm thankful for that have happened since my cancer that I know definitely wouldn't have happened if it weren't for cancer.
That
So yeah.
they're all backwards blessings, and I cannot agree with you more. Perfect. So, this experience taught me.
Oh, this experience taught me that when one door closes, another one opens. You know, the basketball opportunity closes, but that just means that other opportunities have opened, and so when these new opportunities open, you just gotta do your best and do everything you can to reach these, you know, new goals and, you know, new opportunities, and you know, whatever you do, and you know, whatever you do, you just gotta, like, you know, you just gotta push through whatever bad feelings you might be having. You just gotta push through it and get to the finish line, and yeah, just achieve those goals as best as you can.
So, would that also be like your advice for a fellow fighter?
Oh yes, absolutely, for sure. Oh, and also I would also advise a fellow fighter, if you do have an opportunity to share your story out there, always take advantage of it, because you never know what kind of connections you might build from it. Because, you know, the Francis Foundation found me because I shared my story in the newspaper, and I made all these other amazing connections through cancer because I was willing to share my story out there. You know, you wouldn't have found me if I had shared my story in that group. So
Yeah, exactly.
so
100%.
so always
There.
yeah, so always take advantage of any chance you have of sharing your story.
Okay, great. Favorite backwards blessing? The Francis Foundation, maybe? Your favorite back.
Oh yeah, yeah, well, quite a few things actually. Yes, the Francis Foundation for sure, and you know, obviously all the amazing doctors and nurses, and my physical therapist, he was also really amazing. All the people who took care of me, you know, obviously they were a huge blessing. And the community, my family, my friends, you know, who were all there to support me, you know, that was a huge blessing. And also, like, my Facebook group and all the new connections I've made since cancer, those are also all a blessing, because, you know, I definitely wouldn't have gone through my virtual grad school year if it weren't for my Facebook group. I mean, they really helped me get through that, and yeah, all the connections I've mentioned have really helped me get through my journey.
I share that with people. I'm like, I know you don't understand this right now, but believe me, you're gonna get more from going through cancer treatment than you've ever expected, and you're just gonna meet the most amazing people. I mean, it's just the best community. Okay, last question. I am.
I am good one. I I am blessed and thankful again for all the amazing connections I've made since cancer, and for the things that I did get to do since cancer. Um, and I just do the best I can, and whatever it is I do, because, you know, if I can get through cancer, I can get through anything I set my mind into.
Yes, that's why we're superheroes. Well, I think, and I know that you are amazing. You're inspiring. You're strong. You're brave. I mean, you're open. You're vulnerable. Your your mother and father must be very proud of you. I'm sure they are. And I am just so blessed to have connected with you. And I want to thank you for coming on the show. And please list your blog and your Facebook group so that people can, join if they want and check it out. And I will also post it. I definitely want to connect with the Francis Foundation. So I'll text you or message you after. We'll get that done. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to share your story and to, for being so courageous and for giving back and, for not just, taking this experience negatively and making it something horrific, which it is, but turning it into something good, turning it something like life is about giving. It's not about taking, it's about giving. And when you give, you feel so much better. And you're doing that. You're doing that. And I mean, I praise you. I praise you for all that you've been through and what you did on the ward with the other teens or young adults, and how you've managed this with grace. And you're an amazing superhero. And I'm so thankful to have met you. And we will, of course, forever now be connected. And if you know of any other survivors, anybody out there, or somebody who's going through it, or even a caretaker, a superhero, it's got something to do with cancer, please share. Because like Jeff said, the more we share, the more we learn, the more inspiration, and the more hope. You are hope, Hope, my favorite 4-letter word, and love. Well, they're both. But you're definitely hope and you're definitely love. So thank you so much for taking this time. And any updates, please let me know. I will share them. I want everybody to know. And I'm so excited for your master degree to become a reality, and for the next phase of your life. It's going to be amazing, just like you.
Yeah, thank you so very much for giving me the opportunity to be on the Cancer Show. This was a big honor, and I really do appreciate this opportunity. It was very nice getting to meet you face to face.
Yes, we'll do more of this. Okay, now we do our daily mantra just to wrap it up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So everybody, hands together. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. I'm happy. I am whole. Everybody say it at least 3 times a day. Out loud, sing it, scream it, yell it, or just in your head. And remind yourself how absolutely amazing you are. And you are, Jeff. You are. So thanks again, and we will chat soon.
Yes, no, thank you very much. And yep, you have a good rest of your Memorial Day weekend.
Yes,
hopefully
too.
The weather's nicer where you are.
Yeah. Go watch some movies. Enjoy the rain. I'm gonna go to the beach. Okay, take care. Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Bye, love.
Bye.